The movie begins with a moving army truck carrying some soldiers. In the next scene, we see a scientist named Hunt, who tells him that he is on a retainer to company that acquired some real estate in the area where there is an ongoing war. After the war is over, the whole war zone will become mineral rich. So I have to go there and survey it, and you have to protect me all the way. DC falls in with Hunt and takes some money in advance from him. Hereafter, DC with his squad of mercenaries sets out, and soon all of them arrive there. This is a war zone area where the Second World War is still going on. While going through the forest, their radios begin to screech a lot, causing them to get alert. By brushing it aside, they keep marching forward. There, Hunt and DC find some bunkers abandoned by the German forces after their defeat. DC himself goes to check up on the bunkers if there is still anyone there, while his squad is looking for any lurking danger around DC. After finding no short of danger there, DC asks his squad to get over there. DC gets the door of the bunker opened and gets in. It is pitch black, dark inside the bunker. Hunt also gets into the bunker with Pryor and Wojtek. Now all of them begin to explore the bunker for the rich mineral for which they have arrived here, while other two soldiers are guarding the area outside. Jordan sees a flickering light in the forest and starts firing without a second thought. Down there, hearing the gunshots, DC and other soldiers start rushing outside. DC asks Jordan, who is at their target after all. Right then, their radios begin to act up, and in this encounter, Mac is also hit by a bullet in the arm. DC orders a ceasefire, but none of his soldiers listens to him and keeps on firing. DC orders Take to head into the forest to look for the unknown man who was firing at them. Take runs into the forest while DC and other soldiers are protecting him from behind. Tak returns from there after a while and informs DC that there is no one in the woods. Following this, Jordan and Pryor begin to explore the bunker, where they come across relics of the German forces. On the other side, Cotter and Mac also bump into the denuded corpses of the German soldiers. Seeing them, Mac gets disgusted. They call in DC to have a look at the dead bodies. In another chamber, Pryor finds a German war sign behind the projector canvas. In this creepy and mysterious bunker, DC and his squad of mercenaries find a paralyzed and mute man. Each of them cooks up their own conclusions about the man, seeming half dead. DC says, it's like a slaughterhouse down there and he is the only one that is still alive. Mac takes the paralyzed man to a room and makes him sit on a chair and takes away his invaluable wristwatch. While exploring the bunker, Mr. Hunt walks into a chamber where he finds a heavy machine which was used by the German forces. He tries to understand its configuration. Mac is now tired of the silence of the physically challenged man, as he does not speak even a single word in response to his Mac's questions. Mac nears the man and says to him, I don't know why it feels to me that you are at the bottom of all this. Mac stoops down to pick up the coin, but he sees that some kind of soldier is standing behind the paralyzed man. At once he grabs his gun and points it at the silent man, but now there is no one around the man. In the other cabin, Mr. Hunt is still working on the machine and bends over backwards to make out how it works. He gets back to his laptop and begins to watch the old video of the machine. In the meantime, the soul of a defunct German soldier appears there, while Hunt is completely unaware of his presence. He hears some noise behind his back, so he goes to investigate it. He tries to open the door, but finds it locked from the other side. He again feels someone's presence around himself, but as soon as he turns around, no one is in the room. Now Pryor is looking after the mute man. He says to the man, you will speak someday or the other. DC walks into the bunker and says to Hunt, so this is what all this fuss is about. He asks Hunt what this is. Hunt explains to DC that Einstein coined a phrase, unified field theory. Many people thought that he was very close to finding a solution, but when Einstein saw the atomic bomb test at Trinity, he clamped down on the research and destroyed his notes. After seeing the machine, it seems like the Germans were also working on the same thing, as this machine was designed to manipulate a unified field, and that chamber above it, where we found the bodies, was built to control the resultant energy. DC asks why they were doing all that. On this, Hunt tells him that the Germans wanted to win the war at any cost with this technology. While looking for something, Jordan hears some noise behind his back, causing him to get alert. He pulls out his gun and goes into the same chamber, where there is nothing but corpses of German soldiers and the light flickers. Here, Jordan finds a terrified German soldier crouching in the corner. Next moment, there is no one in the corner. Inside the bunker, all the radios automatically turn on and begin to screech. Soon, German classical music begins to play. Mac does his best to turn off the music, but it doesn't stop anyway, despite unplugging the wire. After a while, the music turns off automatically. Outside the bunker, in the middle of the night, the forest starts lightening and some soldiers show up. Cotter, Jordan, and Pryor begin to fire in no time as soon as they see the unwelcome soldiers. DC also comes to assist his men. All of a sudden, a strong gust of wind starts blowing there, causing DC and his soldiers to clutch their heads. After a while, everything becomes normal, and the infiltrating soldiers are also no longer near the tree line. DC comes to know that Tak is missing among them after this encounter. DC goes straight to the paralyzed man and points his gun at him. This time, the half-dead man gives a straight look to DC with his sinister eyes. DC doesn't shoot him and leaves from there. He approaches Hunt and tells him that whoever took him left this metallic sign. Hunt shows a video footage to DC and tells him that Hitler was renowned for dabbling with the occult. Through the video footage, Hunt reveals that the Germans were doing their fatal experiments on their soldiers to enhance their power. Theoretically, the human body could become fused and disappear. The Americans also tried something similar in 1943. An attempt was made to render a warship named USS Eldridge invisible, using Einstein's theories. This project of America was known as the Philadelphia experiment. Some people say that the Americans were partially successful. I think the Nazis were also doing the same thing in this bunker. They were creating such a soldier that was invulnerable and unstoppable. An army that could travel thousands of miles without getting tired and going hungry. DC does not fall in with what Hunt says, so he tells him that he is going to abort this mission. But Hunt says, "You can't do it because the people for whom I work will kill our families first and then they will do away with us." This enrages DC, causing him to grab Hunt by his neck. In the next scene, Tak is in the possession of the fallen German soldiers and pleading with them to spare his life, while DC and his squad watch all this standing afar. The fallen soldier nails a cartridge into Tak's knee, causing Tak to burst into screaming. After that, the fallen soldier scoops out Tak's eye using a bullet, killing him. DC and his squad couldn't do anything besides hearing Tak's painful cry, meaning DC and his men are trapped among the fallen German soldiers. While guarding the bunker from outside, Wojtek reloads his gun, unaware of the fact that a fallen soldier is lurking around him. The defunct soldier shows up before him and puts his knife into mouth and stabs him to death. Mac and Cotter don't even know that Wojtek has been taken down by the fallen soldiers. In the morning, DC and the remaining members of the squad find Wojtek and Tak standing dead supporting each other. Jordan tells DC and the rest of the squad that our enemy is not a living being. How can we kill them when they are not alive? Then, Cotter says, it's a kind of message from them to us. They want to tell us that they own this place. Down there, Cotter comes to take Hunt on the orders of DC, but in the meantime, a fallen soldier turns up there. The fallen German soldier hangs Cotter on the wall, using an axe. Following this, he keeps Cotter's head pressing against the wall until his head bursts open. Thereafter, he lurks around Hunt, but meanwhile, DC and Pryor reach there on time and start firing at the fallen soldier, causing him to disappear from there. Hunt tells DC that the German military machine was falling apart during the Second World War. All the files imply that the Germans were about to shut down this place, and as far as I look through the papers, nobody walked out alive from this outpost. Meaning, the fallen soldiers who are hunting us are no other than the soldiers on whom experiments were conducted, and now they are protecting the machine from us. While Hunt was telling the reality, Jordan tries to pull in their attention and asks them to have a look at the footage. In the footage, they see the same paralyzed man who was with them at this time, commanding his soldiers. Seeing him, Pryor heads to the man and blows his brain out, but in the next moment, the man gets back to his life and just then, it blacks out in the room. All of them rush outside the bunker, where they find Mac hanging dead by a piece of cloth. Now, Hunt explains that when this machine operates fully, it emits a high-pitched frequency that within a certain radius might act as a counterbalance. If this machine turns on successfully, and if we get them in close, we could trap them, and then we will get out of this mess. On this, DC says, I will distract those fallen soldiers and lure them in here. Hunt turns on the sirens, which begin to oust a loud noise into the forest. Now, as soon as the fallen German soldiers hear the siren, they wake up and start heading towards the bunkers. There, the mutant paralyzed man is seen leading his battalion, meaning he is the general of Hitler's army. The fallen army begins to march forward, while DC let them come near first. After that, DC, Jordan and Pryor start shooting those fallen Nazi soldiers. As per the plan, DC and other soldiers lured the dead soldiers into the bunker while continuously shooting at them, but the dead army seems to be impervious to the bullets. The Immortal Army succeeds in capturing Pryor, whom they brutally stabs to death. Now only Jordan and DC are left alive. They ask Hunt to turn on the machine as fast as he can as the fallen army has invaded the bunker. Hunt successfully turns on the machine, which starts emitting high-frequency waves. After being hit by the waves, the fallen soldiers begin to fall unconscious. After working properly for a while, the machine breaks down, causing the fallen soldiers to get back to their life once again. DC and Jordan again start shooting the Immortal Army. During the open fire, Jordan is drawn into a room where he is stabbed to death by the lurking fallen soldiers. DC gets inside the chamber of Hunt, who tells him that the machine is not working at all. So we have to look for another way out. Hunt tries to get DC up, but DC is unable to get back to his feet as he is severely injured by the bullets. He asks Hunt to leave from there at the earliest. Therefore, Hunt tries to crawl out of the duct pipe. Down there, DC manages to get up and fire at the Immortal Army. Hunt reaches the end of the duct pipe but finds the general of the fallen army standing before him. Hunt steps back at the sight of his imminent death, and soon he is taken down by other fallen soldiers. In the next scene, we see that another team has arrived there in search of the previous team. One of the squad members finds a survivor in the room. Perhaps he may be DC. Outside, we see that the forest lightens up as soon as the Immortal German army gets wind of another team's arrival, and we know very well that what will happen to them, and with this horrific scene, this movie comes to an end.